Good Thursday, everyone. Looking at our Upper Cumberland Federal Credit Union weather headlines. One more day of a flash flood risk. It's not as great, I don't think, as yesterday's was because we're not going to have as many storms around, but I do want you to be aware of that isolated risk for some heavy downpours of rain with any storm. The weekend continues to look mostly hot and dry, and then, of course, we're keeping an eye on those tropics. Premier Generators brings us our level of concern. Just looking for general, mostly non-severe thunderstorms. And any of those could produce some isolated flash flooding. So we're at level 1, which is not a meteorologist mark weather alert day, but we will be on the lookout for that low end risk for that isolated flash flood event. Clearview Closeted Blind brings us our 5-day forecast and looking for a 50-50 shot for showers and thunderstorms for today with highs in the mid 80s. And then we see a 20% chance for a thunderstorm on Friday, so just an isolated storm there, and then looking mostly dry for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with highs around 90 into the low 90s. Can't rule out an isolated storm, so your rain chances are like 10% or less for Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, but most of us, if not all of us, will stay just hot and dry. Premier Generators bring us our threat outlooks, and today's flash flood risk is the greatest risk it looks like that we face over the next 5 days, aside from the hot temperatures that'll be moving in. But as far as severe weather goes, I'm just on the lookout for a flash flood incident today. Weikert Realtors bring us our extended threats, and just looking at some hot temperatures next week, especially for the first half of next week, and we'll just be mindful of those. This is a picture of the first Earthrise that was taken on this date in 1966. The very first picture of an Earthrise was taken by satellite from a mission that we sent to the moon. I'll talk more about that in just a moment, but you can see the Earth rising there in the distance on the other side of the moon. That is so cool. But on this date in 1966. Brownell Travel bringing us our on this day in history, and also on this day in 1898, a deadly estimated F4 tornado moved southeast across portions of South Dakota. One man was killed when the kitchen of his farmhouse was torn off. 5 members of one family were killed, along with 2 laborers on another farm, as every building was swept away. That certainly sounded like an F4. The tornado was one of the earliest estimated F4 tornadoes on record for South Dakota. 1966, the Lunar Orbiter is the one who took that picture I just showed you, became the first U.S. spacecraft to orbit the moon. This was only 133 days after the Soviet Luna 10 became the moon's first artificial satellite, so they beat us to that. This orbiter's mission was to photograph the lunar surface and prepare us for future missions and to know exactly where to land, where the safest places would be, and all that good stuff. And in the process of doing all that, captured a picture of an Earthrise. So a very pleasant surprise there for sure. You folks have a wonderful Thursday and keep looking up. For even more weather information and an even better look at the tropics, still watching it as it's become quite active, just go to meteorologistmark.com.